chapters 11 to 20 in Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott Odell. This is a Newbery Medal winning book, so I hope that you really enjoy today's session. Okay, so we can just start right now. Okay, so chapter 11. So Karana, right? Karana, she wakes up, and she wakes up because the waves are dragging at her feet. And mostly waking up at a beach, it would be very good, right? When I always think about a beach, I think of really good clear white sand and beautiful ocean waves. And you wake up and the sun is beautiful and the waves are sparkling. Well, but this isn't really like that, right? Karana was woken up because her canoe, she had to go back because her canoe wasn't very good. There had been leaks. So it was pretty miserable, right? But still, if you had been Karana, what would be your next step? Would you have wanted to still live in the Island of the Blue Dolphins, or would you just want to leave somewhere, maybe just live on the ocean or something? And this sort of brings us to Karana and her attitude. What do you think about Karana's decision to even get to the Island of the Blue Dolphins? I personally, to go back to the Island of the Blue Dolphins, I personally thought that was really good, and that because that's her home, and we learn still later on as her adventure continues that it's really fun and exciting to live on an island, right? Okay, what do you think about Karana's home anyway? And do you think that she would have been better off if she hadn't even left the island in the first place? And also, there is also the leader of the wild dog pack. So what I wanted to ask you about the wild dog pack was, do you really blame them for killing Karana's brother? Because if you think about it, they were only trying to survive, right? They didn't really want to cause harm. Well, of course they didn't want to, but still, they didn't deliberately, out of being mean and malicious, they didn't deliberately want to kill Karana's brother. They had to, right? So do you blame them that they killed Karana's brother? And so she decided to build her house next to the sea elephants. So if she had built her house next to the sea elephants, okay? So if you had been Karana, why would you have wanted to live besides the sea elephants? And well, I just wanted to ask, what are the pros and cons of living with sea elephants? Maybe one would be, sea elephants are really amazing animals. I love to see them. I actually live in California, near the coast, the beach, a really awesome beach, a really good, like top 20 places to visit in California kind of beach. It's really good for swimming and bodyboarding and hiking. But anyway, when we went there, yeah, and there's a lot of seals there. It's amazing. And even though I've never seen a sea elephant in person, I have seen them in pictures, and let me just tell you, they're fascinating animals. Okay, but anyway, back to you. So the sea elephants, what do you think about even the name sea elephants? What do you think about it? I personally think it's pretty funny. Okay, what do you think about the idea of Karana, right? And she's going to make a new home, right? So do you think, what I wanted to ask you was, while you were reading this part, because by now you should have finished all the 10 chapters that we're going to talk about, all the way to chapter 20, so you do know the answer, but while you were reading this, did you doubt Karana's skill? Did you doubt that Karana was going to make a good home for herself? And also, what do you think about, this island, right? She's really happy at this island. Do you think that this island sort of was meant to be her home? And if so, why? Okay, chapter 12. And so we learned that 2 whales are washed up, right? And so she uses these whale bones to make a fence. What did you think about this when you read about this at first? Do you think that it was a good thing to do, bad thing to do, or did you just have like, okay, she made it out of whale bones, so what? How did you feel about this? Personally, I felt really odd because she had even thought of whale bones. She uses every part of nature to help herself. So I was really fascinated about that. And okay, so I wanted to ask you about Karana's life. What do you think about this Karana's life? Do you think that is bad and it's really boring and dull? Or do you think that is exciting and good and for Karana, life is like paradise? But anyway, we do know that she is making plans on killing the leader, right? Which is why she has to go to the tea elephant, not the tea elephants, really sorry, the sea elephants to get the teeth, right? Okay, so she is going to get the teeth. What did you think about this? Did you think that this was gonna work out? And at first I thought that she was gonna get into a lot of trouble, that she would get hurt. Did you think the same thing? And if you had been Karana, would you have done the same thing as Karana? Would you have dared to go to the sea elephants? Or would you have just, walked away and be like, actually, I don't like the idea of just going up to some sea elephants, maybe trying to kill them, even though they're huge and they're enormous and they could probably kill me, and then I need to get their teeth. So it's a pretty bad plan if you think about it. Okay, but I wanted to ask you about this fish called the sai-sai. The sai-sai, I think that they are a kind of fish, okay, I might be very, very wrong because I'm not a very big fish expert, but they lay eggs in the sand. But then they only lay eggs in the sand in May and June. But when they do, they just jump out of the water, right? They just jump out, even if they're gonna die. And then they lay their eggs, and then if they're lucky, then the waves, pull them back into the water. But sometimes they die. But I advise you, if you see any sai-sai, or the fish I was talking about, sorry, I totally forgot the name. But anyway, the fish I was talking about, them don't put it back into the water. Unless it seems that it's flopping around and it's trying to get to the water, but it can't. But then it might still be wanting to lay its eggs. It might not have laid its eggs. Okay, back to the book. Okay, so chapter 13. Do you think that she will be able, that her weapons will work, or do you think that her weapons will break because she's a woman? And who do you think that invented this legend in the first place? This saying, and do you think that is fair? I think it's a little of let's see, of being unfair to women in the olden days, right? I think it's that all over again. So, but anyway, yeah, because that was pretty unfair, and I think that this is unfair that women can't use weapons or can't make any weapons, right? Because women are just as capable as men. Okay, so what do you think about sea elephants? And just the description, right? Just this description. Did you think that he was an ugly animal? What kind of thing appeared in your mind? How would you describe this thing? You can use it with adjectives, describing words, or you could use it with idioms or metaphors, or maybe some personification. You could put some personification, but just anything really. And personally, I think I would have imagined this huge beast, and there's like a sharp pointed nose, like big whisker. Sorry. A large hump, right? Like all the way to the mouth. Hangs. His skin is rough and like cracked, and he's ugly and huge. I just thought of that. Or I could say some. So I actually did put a lot of describing words in there. So I guess that, describing words, adjectives, I think that I just got that covered. But still, there's also idioms. I could use the sea elephant. I imagined was like a troll, right? There's like or as means an idiom, or I could use a metaphor. I could be like, the sea elephant is a troll, okay? But let's get back to the book. Okay, so she sees that the sea elephants begin to fight, right? What did you think about this sea elephant fighting, and who did you want? Which sea elephant did you want it to win? The young little one or the old the old guy? I personally wanted the little one, right? Because he seems nice. The old one does not seem nice. The old bull. Okay, so what do you think about this fighting anyway? What do you think about this fighting? Do you think that this is a good thing for these animals to do, or do you think that this is too violent and that all animals should not do this? I think that it is part of nature, but they should avoid it as much as they can. Excuse me. But anyway, but Karana goes away, right? Because her leg was really, really hurting. What do you think happened to her leg? Do you think that it was just hurt really badly, or do you think that something specific came up? And did you ever have an experience like this? I never did, but I sprained my ankle once, which is close enough. Okay, chapter 14. Excuse me. So she had to go down to the spring, right? She crawled there, and then there was the pack of dogs. If you had been Karana, how would you have reacted to this? How would you have felt about this? So would you have felt scared and gone back, or would you have been determined like Karana was? And also, I personally would be pretty scared. But anyway, she goes into this cave, right? And this cave is really safe for her, so she just she stays there, and she decides that's her like second home if she's in danger, right? So what do you think about Karana's planning? Because I just wanted to say that Karana's planning is right now magnificent, excellent, right? She's living really a king's life, and a queen's life on this island. She has to work, but her food, her house, she's really happy, right? So what I wanted to ask you about this was this. Karana's planning, do you think that you would have done as good of a job as Karana did, or not? And you need to be very, very, very honest with yourself. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to do as good as Karana. Maybe if I went to a boot camp, or maybe if I did some wildlife training courses and survival camps, maybe I could, but I never took those, so I don't know how to survive in the wild, really. Okay, what did you think about the walls? There were these carvings. Do you think that they're beautiful, or do you think that they sort of ruin the scenery? I think that they're really beautiful, and I just really think that it's a big part of culture, right? And then she made 2 more spears, and then she was going to go to the cave of the wild dogs. What do you think? What did you think that what you were going to predict? What did you predict that was going to happen next when you read this? Because even though you've read the whole book, still you should, when you were reading this, what did you think about this? And did you think that this was something brave to do or something foolish? Because brave things can be foolish things, right? There's a difference between brave and foolish. And if you're foolish, then you're not really brave either. You say that you're going to ride your bike without both hands down a really steep hill. You say that you're going to do it, but as you come down, you lose your footing, and you lose your balance, and you go flying from the bike, and you land on the pavement, and you get seriously hurt. Well, not the best, right? Or you could crash into a car. So that's foolish, right? So there's a difference between brave and foolish. I just wanted to say that. Okay, chapter 15. So what do you think about Karana's progress in killing all the dogs? Do you think that she'll eventually be able to kill all the dogs here? And also, did you think that the fire was going to actually kill some dogs or not? And then the leader came, right? She shot the leader, but what I wanted to ask you was the pups. She wanted to hold the pup, right? Even though the pup was part of the tribe, not the tribe, the group of dogs, right? This sort of means that even in bad places, there might be good things too, right? You think about that, and you can think of some examples. Do them right now. Okay, but anyway, she didn't try to kill the leader, right? Why do you think that she didn't try to kill the leader? And why do you think that she brought this leader home? This is a really important part of the book. She even doesn't know. And yeah, this is really a big turning point. And on this title, you might not have the same title, but still, there's a dog here. You see? Right next to the girl. This is the leader, right? So, leader of the pack of dogs. And soon enough, his name is Rontu. Okay. What do you think about Rontu? Do you like him, or do you think that Karana did a very bad job when she chose him to, when she took him in? And another question, which is, I wanted to ask you this. What do you think about a name? What do you think about the importance of the name? And why do you think that when Karana named this dog Rontu, how do you think that this was a turning point in their friendship? How do you think that was a turning point in the book? Because this is really important. Why do you think that this was important? I think that it was important because a name gives something very special. It's like this: a beta. You have not a beta, not I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm getting tongue-tied right now. But anyway, not that specific. Instead, what about think about a goldfish or just any random fish? And so you have a goldfish, but you don't or any random fish. You have a fish, but you don't name it. If you name it, that sort of means that you're a little closer, right? It's like a doll. You get it, but you're like, hey, I'm not gonna even name it, right? It sort of shows that it's not that special to you. But if a name is different, it gives you a title. It gives you some importance to that person's life. Whatever you are, you can be a pet, or you can be something, or you can even be a person, right? So, and it could even be a person, not you, but it could be a person, right? So that's why I think that names are really, really, really important. Okay, did you think that the white man's ship was never going to return? And also, we are going to also think about the canoe. Do you think that this canoe, what do you think about this canoe making? And I don't really mean the canoe, even though I just want to say that it was really impressive. But what I want to talk about was Rontu. Rontu is he's becoming a real good companion for Karana. How do you think that Rontu helps Karana in their friendship? And do you think that and also I wanted to ask you about Rontu and Karana exploring, okay? Do you like exploring, or do you think that exploring just makes trouble? I think that there's a point in exploring where it gets a little too dangerous, you know? I mean, exploring, hiking a trail, maybe going up a mountain and biking and looking at things that's really strange and trying to learn about it, it's exploring knowledge. That's all very good exploring, right? But let's say that you say that you're going to hike into a deep forest where there are tigers and lions. Well, I'm all making this up, okay? I'm making this all up. And there's also these traps that could kill you, but you're going to explore, okay? Not the best idea. Okay, so then there was this devilfish. What do you think about this devilfish? What do you think that this devilfish actually was from the description? An octopus, right? Oh, it's an octopus. What do you think that devilfish fits an octopus or not? I sort of think it does because of the black cloud. It sort of makes it, you know, look like a devilfish. And do you think that if Karana got a devilfish, that would be a feast for her, right? Do you ever like devilfish? And do you realize the value of devilfish now? I mean, I just got used to saying devilfish. It's really fun to say, so I'm just gonna keep on calling it devilfish, okay? I never actually noticed the value of devilfish until Karana began to be like, wow, this is devilfish, I need to get it, right? And then I realized that another man's trash can be another man's treasure, okay? Well, of course, this Karana's a woman, right? But you get what I'm saying. Okay. So, what did you think about the devilfish? Do you think that she is going to get a devilfish or not? And if so, and I think that she is going to, but if so, if she gets a devilfish, do you think that she's going to survive? She's going to keep on surviving, and she's going to live for the rest of her life, a long, happy life, or do you think that she'll die really quickly because she doesn't have a lot of food? And speaking about this, I was actually curious about your opinions in, do you think that Karana is going to live for the rest of her life on this island? Or do you think that she's going to go to the mainland soon enough? And if you think that she's going to go to the mainland, then how do you think that she's going to the mainland? Do you think that she's going to paddle there? Do you think that a ship is going to pick her up? What do you think? Okay, so okay. Now she's making this spear, right? Specifically modeled for a devilfish. What do you think about this spear? Do you think that it's actually going to work? I think so. But, and also, she was going to the spring, right? And there was no Rontu. We sort of got the hints that Karana was lonely without Rontu. When Rontu was gone, it sort of made her sad, right? Have you ever had this kind of experience? But anyway, She was going there, and Ronto was on this really big pile, and there were surrounded about wild dogs, and he was fighting, right? Do you think that Karana should have interjected and killed the dogs? Why do you think that she thought that this fight was between Ronto and the dogs? Do you think that this was fair of Karana or not? I thought that this was really interesting. I think that Karana did a good job, but then maybe she should have helped Ronto a little more. But I think I know why, and I think that it sort of shows that Ronto is a very capable dog. So I have mixed feelings about this, but mostly I think that Karana did the right thing. What do you think about animals fighting anyway? I don't really like it, but I wanted to ask you one thing. Do you think that there should be no violence in the world, or do you think that sometimes some violence should be needed because they are fighting a lot, right? So I was just really curious about that. Okay, and before we go on to chapter 18, I wanted to ask you a question. It was, the dogs never bothered Ronto again. Why do you think so? Do you think that some message went over the dogs? Why? Okay, chapter 18. Okay, so she captured a few birds, right? Did you think that this was the right thing to do or not? And what do you think about about keeping pets? Do you think that this is a good thing? That keeping pets is a good thing, or do you think that it's an unfair trade? And okay. So for people who like my stories, I'm going to tell you a story. For people who do not like my stories, then you can skip ahead, or you can just close your eyes and try to tune it out, okay? But I hope that you enjoy the story. So there's a specific kind of fish, okay? Because I was going fish shopping at a pet store, PetSmart to be exact, and the thing was, I wanted to have this specific kind of fish, okay? I had an aquarium, I set up the tank and the water, so I was really excited for a fish. And I wanted to get a betta fish, or a Siamese fighting fish, but it's really known as the betta fish. Most all of the people call it betta fish or betta fish. I've got into the habit of saying betta fish, even though at first I said betta fish. But anyway, so what I wanted to say about this was that they live in these little plastic cups. And I swear that they're sometimes even smaller than the mugs that you drink from. I'm not kidding. It's really bad, but yeah, it's really unfair in my opinion. And when I got that betta, he was really lucky, right? All the others were still stuck in their prisons. But I had gotten one betta out, and that betta was going to live in a ginormous tank, and he was going to have a very good life. So anyway, I named him Lucky because he was so lucky. But anyway, what I wanted to ask you about this, okay? So that's one story. Yeah, and this is sort of something about the pet trade and how it's pretty bad. So I just wanted to tell you that. But still, having a pet is awesome. What do you think about Karana's life now? Do you think that she has too many pets, or do you think that she has the right amount of pets? And what do you think that Karana's life actually is really good? That even if she is living even if she is living in nature, in the wilderness. Okay, so we're now going to go to food hunting, right? So she gets the abalones, right? If you had been Karana, would you have been more focused on getting fish or abalones or both? But anyway, there was the giant devilfish. Oh my god. The fight is pretty epic. I was amazed that this book it was so epic in my opinion. Do you think that was scary, the fight? Or do you think that, like me, it was epic? And also, how do you like Karana's, she doesn't back down. If she's doing something, she does it. What do you think about this of Karana's attitude? How would you describe this? And do you think that sometimes a little sacrifice is okay for a big prize? Or do you think that just not sacrificing at all is good enough, is good? I think that sometimes you do need to sacrifice though. But anyway, we get this giant devilfish, and she gets 2 more that summer. Do you think that the devilfish, what did you think about this devilfish and how it could even be dangerous on land? Did you even think about that? Did you even think about the concept that it could even be dangerous on land? I never actually did. Okay, anyway, we're going to chapter 20, which is the last chapter, unfortunately. But yeah, and I just wanted to tell you, this is after this is the second to last class of Island of the Blue Dolphins. So I hope that you enjoy the rest of the book. It's gonna get more and more awesome. Even though I don't know how it can be more awesome because it's already so amazing and awesome. I love this story. Okay, so I wanted to ask you about her, about what do you think about, there was this cave, right? Black cave. And there was a skeleton right there and surrounded by all these. Oh man, I just thought that this was a little creepy. I was reading this in my bed and I actually I had to snuggle a little more. I was like this because I was so scared. But, because I thought that they were gonna come to life. It was a silly thought, but I thought that. If you're having Karana, how would you have reacted to this? How would you have felt about this? And how would you have liked it if you had been stuck in there for the whole night? I wouldn't have liked it at all. Do you think that the name Black Cave fits it perfectly? I think it does. And so then she's going up, right? She's getting the cormorants and all that, and she sees a ship. Do you think that this ship, were you nervous about the ship? Did you think that these were the bad guys, the Alouettes, or did you think that they were the Indians? Well, they were the Alouettes, right? And what I wanted to ask about this was this. Do you think that the Alouettes will find Karana or not? And if they do, actually no. And if they do, then what do you think that they will do to her? And if they don't, do you think that Karana will still live on this island? I actually asked you that a little earlier, but I just wanted to ask you it again, okay? Because that is actually a really important concept in the book. But I just wanted to say this. So it's completely optional, but I really advise you to read the end, the last chapter. Like, no, not the last chapter, excuse me, of course you have to read the last chapter, but there's also an author's note. It's really important. You learn why this book was written, where it's actually set in, like, the exact place, really, you learn, actually, I will save that for later, but if you really do want one piece of information, it's not really a spoiler, I guess, okay? But just for people who don't want to learn until they read the author's note, well, for the people who don't want to learn, then I'll say bye, guys, okay? And then after that, I'll just say it. So for the people who don't want to hear, then they can just X and turn off the computer by then, okay? Okay, but anyway, we are done for right now. And well, I just wanted to ask you a few more last questions. First of all, it is, who's your favorite character and who's your least favorite character? Remember, there's only Karana and Rantu, and then if you want to count the birds, then yes, the birds. Or it could be the devilfish, right? So it can be animals too, or it could be the sea elephants. And also, what do you predict is going to happen next? What was your favorite part in these chapters, and then the whole book so far, okay? And finally, I wanted to ask you one more question, okay? This is a sort of, actually, it's a bonus question. It's sort of actually, not a question exactly, sort of a research project I was actually really interested about, and it's this. You can actually research more about things related to this. It could be about otters, it could be about wild dogs, it could be about Indians, it could be about islands or dolphins or things like that, or maybe just survival, and then you could do a presentation, because that really does help you in understanding the book more, and it just really is interesting when you learn new things. And and I think that learning new things is always an amazing experience. Okay guys, I hope that you had a great time with me, and just have a great rest of your day. Keep on reading books, enjoy books, because books are one of the great joys in life, okay guys? Bye! And for the people who've stuck around, I just wanted to say that this story actually is a true story, and Coral Cove actually is a real place. But I'm not